Hey there. Got back from work a few days ago, just relaxing. I think I got a week off. It's a nice spring day out. I don't know if you can see that or not. Why not? My dog. And I'm just sitting here, and I realized that there was a video series I've been wanting to do for a while, and I just thought now would be a good time to start. And that is a video series on democracy. Now, I don't want to comprehensively cover the whole thing because honestly, I can't do that. I wouldn't know everything. I just want to point out some of the problems I see with the term and its use, and well, with democracy generally. And this is important because democracy is very often basically considered a panacea. There's a famous book by Hans Hermann Hoppe titled "Democracy: The God That Failed," and I think that he's really onto something there. Whenever I've had debates with people about anything, really, it could be about healthcare or defense or capitalism or regulations or monopoly or just about anything, this term democracy gets thrown out there. And usually it's like a taken for granted that democracy is somehow in and of itself justification, that democracy proves. And so I remember very distinctly I debated an anarcho-syndicalist. Well, he said he was an anarcho-syndicalist, but like many anarcho-syndicalists, he basically supported a gargantuan government, and he supported every government program he ever heard of, basically. But you would debate him, and he would just say, "Well, what you're arguing is it's inherently wrong because it is anti-democratic, and what I'm arguing for, it's inherently correct because it is democratic." And what's just taken for granted there is that democracy, its presence or lack thereof, proves anything, and I don't think this is the case. And there's just a couple big problems with it that are not really denied. I don't know, I've never heard refutations of any of these arguments. They're just ignored. But in this video, I just want to point out that one of the problems with the term is that it's overly broad and vague to the point of meaninglessness. I've heard democratic socialists use it. I've heard just regular socialists use it. I've heard liberals, Republicans, conservatives, Marxist dictatorships, various forms of anarchy, even free market capitalism can be considered democracy. The word, it has a definition, but it's so broad as to be almost completely useless. When you debate somebody, you need to know a lot more about their positions than just them saying that they're for democracy to really have any idea what they really want. It's almost nothing that is excluded in the term. You can have representative democracy, you can have absolute democracy. Like I said, you can have market democracy. So I'm not an objectivist, but I remember hearing once that Ayn Rand talked about the idea of what she called a floating abstraction, which was a concept that was so vague, that had no definite definition, that it was useless. Now, I don't know if democracy quite rises to that level, but in any event, it's extremely vague, and it's used as a club. You shouldn't, if you advocate something that somebody doesn't like, they can just say that's anti-democratic, and you don't even know what that means. I can make the argument that everything I advocate is democratic, and at the same time, I can make an argument that everything I say is anti-democratic, and I don't know. It seems like almost a useless term in terms of, rational debate. Now, if you want to be more explicit about what you favor and call that democracy, fine. But just calling it democracy at the outset is confusing because we don't even know what that would mean. So, yeah, that's why I think it's important. What I'm going to do. That being said, that would mean that there are, many different types of democracy, and I couldn't possibly refute all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the problems with what I would specify as political democracy, or the idea that majority voting, either of a representative body or just of the entire populace, why that's a problematic system, why that system is not good, either from moral, ethical, or utilitarian grounds. Again, with me, morals and ethics, I personally haven't resolved the is-ought dichotomy or problem, so I think it's, even though those are easier arguments to make, they're less certain, but the utilitarian arguments are pretty much irrefutable. So I think I'm going to go ahead. I don't think this is going to be comprehensive, but just a couple of the problems that I've noticed. So, all right, that's it.